Good evening. Tonight, we're diving into a story that affects every single one of us, whether we realize it or not. It's about something as ordinary as your weekly trip to the store, but with consequences that are anything but ordinary. Let's talk about shopping. Once a simple pleasure, a routine that brought families together and filled pantries without a second thought. But now, that same trip to the store has become a source of anxiety and sticker shock, leaving shoppers wondering how much further their dollars can stretch. On June 1st, 2025, everything changed. A new wave of tariffs hit overnight, and suddenly your local Walmart, Target, or grocery store felt less like a place of abundance, and more like a battleground. Shelves that were once fully stocked now sit half empty, and the products that remain come with price tags that seem to climb higher every week. President Trump's tariffs, designed to revive American manufacturing and protect domestic jobs, have had an unexpected side effect. Instead of just boosting factories, they've made everyday essentials, from coffee makers to kids' bikes, from breakfast cereal to school supplies, more expensive almost overnight. The price hikes aren't subtle, they're impossible to ignore. Suddenly, every shopping trip feels like a high-stakes gamble. Families are forced to make tough decisions, weighing what they need against what they can actually afford. Parents are stretching already thin budgets, trying to make every dollar count, and feeling the pressure mount with every item added to the cart. People are digging up old receipts, comparing prices from just a few months ago, and realizing that their disposable income is the real casualty of this economic war. The difference isn't just a few cents here and there, it's dollars, sometimes tens of dollars, lost on the same products they've always bought. There was no gradual change, just a sudden, painful jump in the cost of living. Shoppers are left stunned at the register, their faces reflecting disbelief and frustration as totals ring up far higher than expected. Conversations in the aisles are no longer about what's for dinner, but about how much everything costs. For many, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a crisis. People are putting items back on the shelves, making heartbreaking choices between groceries and gas, between school supplies and utility bills. The checkout line has become a place of tough decisions and quiet sacrifices. Welcome to the new normal, where the price is always wrong, and the simple act of shopping has become a daily reminder of how global politics can hit home in the most personal way. The shopping cart, once a symbol of convenience and choice, has been weaponized, and we're all feeling the impact. So, what's a tariff? Simply put, it's a tax on imported goods. The idea, make foreign products pricier so American-made goods look better. President Trump's tariffs are pitched as a way to protect U.S. industries and jobs. But here's the catch. Foreign governments don't pay these tariffs, American importers do, and they pass the cost to you. That big, beautiful wall is built with your wallet. It's a tax disguised as patriotism, hitting everything from electronics to clothing. The policy claims to punish foreign nations, but the pain lands squarely on American shoppers. It's like setting your own lawn on fire to annoy your neighbor. If you can buy it at Walmart, odds are it just got more expensive. That's the brutal truth. The fallout was immediate. Walmart became ground zero for confusion, prices jumped, shelves emptied, and both shoppers and employees were left scrambling. Customers, shocked by sudden price hikes, tried to make sense of receipts that didn't add up. Employees, caught off guard, faced angry questions with no answers. Stock shortages followed as importers struggled with new costs, leaving gaps where goods used to be. Panic buying set in, making shortages worse. The predictable rhythm of retail was shattered, replaced by scarcity and frustration. Walmart's promise of always low prices was broken. The aisles became a battlefield in a trade war no one asked for. It was a mess, plain and simple. The country split in two. On one side, angry consumers facing ballooning bills and shrinking budgets. Social media exploded with #Trump tariff tax and photos of jaw-dropping receipts. On the other, supporters who saw the tariffs as a patriotic sacrifice for American jobs. Arguments erupted everywhere, even in store aisles. Some shoppers hunted for "Made in USA" labels, others looked for a way out. For many near the border, that meant shopping in Canada. The quest for affordable goods was about to cross international lines. The retail divide had never been sharper. Enter the Great Northern Migration, not of birds, but of bargain hunters, driven by the promise of savings just across the border. As winter winds swept through the region, a new kind of traveler emerged, Americans eager to escape the rising costs at home, embarking on a cross-border shopping adventure. Americans living near the Canadian border packed up their cars, bundled up their families, and set out on the open road, all in search of relief from the sting of new tariffs. The highways leading north buzzed with anticipation as convoys of vehicles with U.S. plates made their way toward the promise of better deals. Canadian retail giants like Walmart and Loblaws quickly became the go-to destinations for these cross-border shoppers. Their parking lots overflowed with cars from the U.S., and their aisles bustled with American accents, as families compared prices and filled their carts with goods that suddenly seemed like treasures. The math was simple and compelling. A 25% tariff in the US meant that many everyday goods were now far cheaper in Canada. Factor in a favorable exchange rate, and the savings multiply. Shoppers did quick calculations on their phones, marveling at how much further their dollars stretched north of the border. For many families, a single shopping trip could mean saving hundreds of dollars, even after accounting for the cost of gas and a long day on the road. The checkout lines were filled with laughter and relief, as shoppers realized just how much they were taking home for less. Everyday essentials, clothes for the kids, the latest electronics, and even weekly groceries became cross-border deals too good to pass up. Shoppers browsed with purpose, stocking up on items that had become luxuries back home. Parking lots were a sea of U.S. license plates, and border guards grew accustomed to seeing cars packed to the brim with blenders, televisions, and bags of groceries. The sight of families loading up their trunks with Canadian bargains became a new normal at the border. Instead of boosting American retail, the tariffs had an unexpected effect. They fueled a shopping boom in Canada. Canadian stores thrived, while some American retailers near the border saw their aisles empty and their sales decline. The law of unintended consequences was on full display. Shoppers who once supported their local stores now found themselves forced to look elsewhere, frustrated by high prices and limited options at home. The solution to soaring prices was simple, if a bit unconventional: shop in another country. For many, the border became less of a barrier and more of a gateway to savings and opportunity. The irony was impossible to ignore. In trying to protect American businesses, the tariffs had sent shoppers and their dollars straight into the arms of Canadian retailers. For many, it was a shopping spree they'd never forget. For Canadian retailers, it was Christmas in June. Border towns saw a surge of American shoppers, and stores quickly rolled out the welcome mat. Signs advertised the exchange rate, shelves emptied faster than ever. Canadian Tire, Loblaws, and Walmart reported sales jumps of 30 to 40% from U.S. customers. Americans bought everything from patio furniture to power tools, anything hit by tariffs. The entire local economy got a boost. Gas stations, restaurants, and small shops all benefited. Canadian news celebrated the friendly invasion. The only downside? Occasional shortages for locals. For Canada, the tariffs were a windfall. The message? Keep those American shoppers coming. Winners and losers quickly emerged. Canadian retailers were the big winners, enjoying a sales bonanza. Americans near the border also won, dodging tariffs with a quick drive north. Some U.S. manufacturers might benefit, but evidence is thin. The losers? Most American consumers, especially those far from the border who faced higher prices with no escape. Low and middle-income families felt the squeeze hardest. U.S. retailers like Walmart struggled with higher costs and angry customers. Employees bore the brunt, caught between policy and public outrage. One policy, prosperity for a few, hardship for many. The real impact? Listen to the people. Beyond the headlines and political debates, it's the everyday voices in the aisles and checkout lines that tell the true story. These are the stories that rarely make the news, but they echo in every corner of the country. David, a small business owner, saw his costs jump 30% overnight. Every dollar counts. For David, it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about keeping his doors open, paying his employees, and making sure his family is provided for. He's had to make tough decisions, cutting back on inventory, delaying upgrades, and even considering layoffs. The stress is constant, and the uncertainty is overwhelming. Maria, a single mom, now pays $10 more for her son's sneakers. It means less for groceries. For her, every price hike means a sacrifice somewhere else. She's forced to choose between healthy food and new shoes, between paying the electric bill and buying school supplies. The pressure is relentless, and the guilt is real. Walmart employees faced daily abuse, blamed for prices they couldn't control. Customers vent their anger and frustration at the nearest target, the workers on the front lines. Shouting matches, accusations, and even tears have become part of the daily routine. "Morale is at an all-time low," one worker whispered. Break rooms, once a place for quick laughs and camaraderie, are now filled with silence and exhaustion. Many workers feel powerless, caught between corporate decisions and customer outrage. Even supporters of the tariffs, like Mark from Michigan, made cross-border trips to save money. "I have to look out for my family." Mark once believed tariffs would help American businesses, but now he finds himself driving hours to Canada just to afford basic necessities. The irony isn't lost on him, but survival comes first. These stories reveal the true cost: stress, frustration, and tough choices. Every shopping trip is a balancing act, every checkout a moment of anxiety. People are forced to rethink what they can afford and what they must leave behind. The tariffs aren't just numbers, they're lived realities in every aisle. Price tags tell a story of struggle, and every shopper feels the pinch. The impact ripples through families, communities, and entire towns. For many, the trade war feels personal. It's not just about politics or economics, it's about daily life, about dignity, about making ends meet. The frustration is palpable, and the sense of injustice lingers long after the shopping is done. The human toll is impossible to ignore. Behind every statistic is a face, a family, a story of resilience and hardship. The emotional weight is heavy, and it's carried by millions. This is what economic policy looks like on the ground. It's not just theory, it's real life, unfolding in every store, every day, for millions of Americans. So what's next? Maybe this becomes the new normal: higher prices, cross-border shopping, and a permanent shift in how we buy. Or maybe public outrage forces a policy reversal, bringing more chaos but a shot at relief. In the meantime, Americans adapt, buying less, fixing more, and seeking out local goods. The shopping cart is now a symbol of economic struggle and political debate. Every purchase is a calculation and a statement. The future? Uncertain, but one thing's clear: we'll never look at a price tag the same way again. Good night.